Today I'm coming right into your house and in your kitchen. For those of you that buy a very big onion bulb and you use part of it in cooking on Sunday and keep the remaining part for cooking on Thursday, are you aware that it's not healthy? Cooking with stored cut onions, it's not healthy. I know you would say it is economical. Yes, it is. But when you compare your health with the little money you would use in buying another onions, you would see that your health is more valuable. So the multi-million dollar question is, why should you not cook with stored cut onions? Very good. We all know that onions is a very healthy vegetable, adds flavor to the food, and I don't even know what food cooked without onions would taste like. But why should you not cook with stored cut onions? There are two places an average person would store his or her cut onions. One is on the kitchen top covered with a bowl. The second place is in the refrigerator. Now, if you are the type that store your cut onions on the kitchen top covered with a bowl, what happens is once that onions is cut, we know microorganisms are ubiquitous, meaning they are everywhere. There are two major sources whereby these microorganisms will get introduced into these onions. One is the knife you're using in cutting it. Two is the cutting board on which the onions is laid. And the microorganisms can also come from the environment. After cutting the onions, one thing you should note is onions has a high water content and it contains lots of nutrients. So after cutting the onions, the microorganisms in the environment, from the knife, from the cutting board, get attracted to these onions. Why? That's because it's a very juicy source of food for them. And who wouldn't want a place where there is food? So once they come to these onions, they thrive there and they build a community, thereby making the onions harmful to your health, harmful for you to consume. The second place where you would think of storing your onions is in the refrigerator. Some of you might say, it's the cold temperature and it's nice. Do you know that the cold temperature is the major reason why you should not store your onions in the refrigerator? That's because the cold temperature makes the onions soggy, it reduces the nutrients in the onions, and it makes it lose its crunchy nature. Yes, this cold temperature also leads to oxidization of the onions, which will favor the growth of microorganisms. Hence, it will lead to a quick decay of the onions. I know a third set of persons might say, what about if I store these onions in a sealed container? Remember that these onions have already been cut. Hence, microorganisms from the knife and the cutting board have been introduced in it, and also from the environment. That environment alone is conducive for some pathogens to grow. And when you leave them undisturbed for days, that is heaven to them. They will just make good use of the opportunity and quicken the decay of the onions. I know some of you would be like, okay, what if I cut the surface and use the other parts? There are some microorganisms called fungi. Now, before you see them grow, before you see them, the visible growth on a food particle, they've already built what we call hyphae into the food. And this is a way of them marking their territory. Like, if you can't see us, just know we're already there. And these fungi can also be found in cut onions. Research has it that fungi such as Aspergillus and Candida albicans have been isolated from cut onions. Very dangerous bacteria has also been isolated from cut onions. Bacteria such as Bacillus cereus, this one is a very notable culprit for food poisoning. The next is Staphylococcus aureus, and we also have Pseudomonas aeruginosa. This is a bacterium that is highly resistant to antibiotics. I know some of you might say, what if I give the onions a very good stir so that all the microorganisms would die? Are you aware that some microorganisms such as Bacillus cereus form what we call spores? and these spores are resistant to heat. So no matter how much you stir the onions, if you like, you burn them, the spores are still there. So would you jeopardize your health for just a little more money you would use in buying more onions? I'm sure you know better. Till I come your way in the next video, do stay healthy and don't store your cut onions. Bye.